Step 1. Discovery, awakening. Before we learn to speak, we first learn to feel. The human voice was never meant to deliver words alone. It was born to transmit energy. Every tone we share carries a signature of who we are. Our fears echo in our hesitations. Our intentions vibrate in the silence between words. And our presence, that subtle field of awareness, can transform any conversation into connection. But somewhere along the way, we forgot. We learned to speak without truly connecting, to talk louder instead of deeper, to perform communication instead of living it. Hold on a moment. Stay with me until the very end, because what's coming next is the full story. The story of how you can truly learn how to communicate effectively. This isn't just theory. It's a journey, practical, real, and deeply human. And if it inspires you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it. Let someone else feel that spark too.
The forgotten art. Think about it. We spend years studying math, history, science, but how much time do we spend learning the one skill that defines every relationship, every opportunity, every moment of leadership? The art of communication. We assume it's natural, that because we can speak, we can connect. But true communication is not a talent. It's a discipline, an awareness, a practice.
The invitation to awareness. Imagine that every word you speak is a note in the grand symphony of human connection. Some strike harmony, others create tension, but all of them matter. The first step to mastery is not to speak better, it's to listen deeper. Not just with your ears, but with your entire nervous system, with your eyes, your presence, your empathy.
The awakening moment. This is the awakening. The moment you realize communication is not something you do, it's something you become. Every conversation is a mirror. Every silence, a teacher. Every misunderstanding, a chance to learn presence. The most powerful communicators are not the loudest voices. They are the clearest channels. They don't speak to impress. They speak to express. They don't listen to reply. They listen to understand. And so, this is where our journey begins. Not with more words, but with more awareness. Because the art of communication begins the moment you learn to listen, not just to others, but to yourself.
Rediscovering connection. In a world obsessed with information, what we crave most is connection. True communication is not about saying what's clever. It's about creating space for another soul to exist beside yours. When you speak with empathy, you remind others that they matter. When you listen with stillness, you teach them to trust.
The awakening moment. This is the awakening. The moment you realize communication is not something you do, it's something you become. Every conversation is a mirror. Every silence, a teacher. Every misunderstanding, a chance to learn presence. The most powerful communicators are not the loudest voices. They are the clearest channels. They don't speak to impress. They speak to express. They don't listen to reply. They listen to understand. And so, this is where our journey begins. Not with more words, but with more awareness. Because the art of communication begins the moment you learn to listen, not just to others, but to yourself.
Part 2. Exploration. The hidden layers of communication. The many conversations within one. Every conversation is not just a single dialogue. It is a symphony of layers. Some notes are practical,
solving problems, sharing facts, making plans. Some notes are emotional, revealing vulnerability, seeking empathy, desiring understanding. Some notes are social, negotiating identity, status, or belonging. When two people speak but inhabit different layers, words collide like mismatched instruments. The result is tension, misunderstanding, frustration. Mastery begins with recognition, to discern which conversation is happening and meet it with attunement, not agenda.
The matching principle. Imagine a river blocked by sediment. Your words are the water, your intent, the current. When you match the layer, practical, emotional, social, the current flows freely. When you mismatch, the water splashes uselessly against the banks. Practical advice delivered to someone seeking empathy. Strategies offered to someone wanting to be heard. These are not failures of intent. They are failures of resonance. Master communicators do not merely speak. They listen deeply, discern the layer, then match their energy and words to it.
Vulnerability, the hidden bridge. Connection blooms in vulnerability. Yet so often we hide behind polished words, rehearsed phrases, fear of judgment. The courage to ask a question that touches the soul. What does this mean to you? What changed you during that time? Creates a bridge, not of cleverness, but of openness. The more you expose your own humanity, the safer others feel to expose theirs. Vulnerability begets connection. Vulnerability is the invisible path across which trust travels.
Mindset shifts from self to others. Fear is the silent weight that clogs communication. Self-consciousness, the spotlight effect, the illusion that everyone is scrutinizing you. These are the gunk in the tap. The remedy is simple, yet profound. Shift focus from self to others. Every conversation becomes an opportunity to serve, not to perform. Every moment to speak becomes a moment to illuminate, not impress. Focus on impacting even one person, and nervous energy transforms into presence, attention, empathy. This is the first mindset shift, not to silence fear, but to redirect it towards service.
The power of intention. Every word we utter carries intention, but often it is tangled with ego, the desire to appear smart, likable, impressive. To speak with clarity, we must cultivate conscious intention, to connect, to understand, to serve. Intent is the rudder of the conversation. Without it, words drift. With it, connection is inevitable.
The discipline of practice. Mastery is not born overnight. Words alone are insufficient. Presence is cultivated. Confidence is rehearsed. Empathy is exercised. Speak on camera. Record your voice. Listen to yourself. Notice where tension lingers, where your heart wants to reach, but your mind hesitates. Every conversation, every interaction, every question asked and answered is a rehearsal for deeper connection.
Storytelling, the emotional amplifier. Stories are not decoration. They are the architecture of connection. Facts inform. Stories transform. They carry empathy, humor, courage, insight. In a vessel the heart and mind can receive. A simple narrative turns strangers into allies, mundane advice into inspiration, fleeting conversation into lasting memory. When you tell a story, you invite listeners into your world. When you listen to a story, you enter theirs. This is the alchemy
of communication. The arena and fear of judgment. Criticism is inevitable. Judgment is natural. The voices that matter are not the spectators, but the participants, those who step into the arena with you, striving, failing, learning. The rest, background noise. You cannot control them. You cannot please them, but you can focus on those that matter and let the energy of shared struggle, shared purpose, shared growth guide your voice. Courage in communication, to speak fully, knowing you will be imperfect, knowing some will misunderstand, yet offering your truth anyway. Every word is a seed. Every conversation a field. Some seeds take root, some fall away. But the act of planting, the courage to speak with clarity, empathy, is always fertile. When you cultivate presence, empathy, intention, courage, your words begin to resonate beyond the moment. They touch hearts, shift perspectives, invite others into connection. Transition to conflict, inner barriers. And yet, despite understanding, despite intention, communication is never effortless. The inner gunk, fear, insecurity, distraction remains. In the next act, we confront these hidden blocks. We see the tension that prevents connection and learn how mastery of presence and awareness can clear the flow once and for all. Part 3. Conflict. Insight. The invisible blocks. Every word we speak is filtered through a hidden gate. Anxiety, self-doubt, fear of judgment. These are invisible blocks, silent yet powerful. They distort what we mean, what we express, what we share. The water of your voice, once pure, is slowed, splashed, interrupted by sediment you cannot always see. We call this gunk anxiety, embarrassment, hesitation, the residue of moments when we felt inadequate, rejected, small. The childhood echo. These blocks often begin early. In childhood, we speak freely, bold, unfiltered. But life teaches lessons, some harsh, some subtle. Criticism, embarrassment, heartbreak, each deposits sediment in the stream of expression. A boy who once stood confidently may later shrink. The world whispers, your words matter less than your mistakes, your fear of being wrong. And so, the river slows. But sediment is not permanent. Awareness is the first step to clearing it. The spotlight effect. We overestimate how much others notice us. Every misstep, every stutter, every glance misread, magnified. Yet most people are absorbed in their own world, their own story. The fear of judgment is rarely real. It is imagined. To communicate freely, step out of the imaginary spotlight. Step into service, presence, connection, rather than performance. The self-consciousness loop. Self-consciousness is a loop that hijacks the mind. Do I sound smart? Am I interesting? Are they judging me? These thoughts trap energy in the mind, create hesitation in the body, block voice, tone, authentic expression. The antidote is twofold: awareness, noticing the loop; redirection, shifting attention outward, toward the human before you. Intention versus validation. Much of the inner conflict stems from seeking validation. We speak to be admired, to be liked, to be safe. This creates unnatural tension, rigidity in voice, stiffness in expression, hesitation in gesture.
The shift is simple, yet profound. Speak to connect, not to impress. Speak to serve, not to be seen. The moment your intent changes, the energy of communication transforms. Tension dissolves. The gunk begins to clear. Your voice flows. Connection becomes inevitable.
Anxiety as energy. Anxiety is not the enemy. It is energy waiting for direction. Like a river dammed, it can flood and destroy, or be channeled to power growth. Mindful presence converts fear into fuel. Every breath, every pause, every moment of focus redirects nervous energy into clarity, confidence, and authenticity. The one thing framework. Clarity dissolves fear. When rambling, over-explaining, overthinking, the mind spirals, communication suffers. The solution is simple. Identify the one thing. The single core idea you want to convey. Speak it first. Let every other word orbit around it. Complexity can follow later, but the anchor must be clear. Focus stabilizes the mind. Confidence rises. Your audience hears with clarity. Gunk in the tap is not only mental, it is emotional. Old hurts, unprocessed fear, unresolved frustration, all settle in the bloodstream of communication. We speak, but don't express. We reply, but don't connect. Our voice carries shadows of our past, not the truth of the moment. To clear it, identify the source, acknowledge it, act. Awareness alone opens the sluice gates. Reflection with practice begins the flow. Transformation through awareness, insight, is born in tension, understanding the blocks, ego, fear, self-consciousness, illuminates the path forward. No one becomes a master communicator without confronting inner resistance. The struggle is necessary. The conflict is the teacher. The revelation is profound. The very tension that constrains you can elevate you. The bridge to transformation, the blocks, the gunk, the inner dialogue, they are not permanent. With awareness, intention, practice, courage, they can be cleared, channeled, transformed. The next act guides you across this bridge, from insight to mastery, from struggle to flow, from talking to truly connecting. Step 5. Transformation, revelation. Clearing the flow. The river is cleared. The gunk washed away. The voice that was once hesitant now moves with purpose. Communication, once tangled, flows naturally. Transformation begins with awareness, continues with practice, and is solidified by intention. When you speak from clarity, each word carries weight. Each pause carries meaning. Each glance carries presence. The 4 pillars of mastery. To transform communication into art, there are 4 pillars: presence, intention, story, connection. Presence. Be fully in the moment, not rehearsing, not performing, simply being. The foundation of trust, empathy, resonance. Intention. Every word carries direction. Ask, am I speaking to impress or to serve? Intent transforms tension into connection. Story. Stories are vessels of empathy. Facts inform, stories transform. A personal anecdote, a metaphor, a visual example. Each carries heart, humor, truth.
Connection. Communication is not performance. It is a bridge. Build it, tend it, walk across it. Practical, emotional, and social conversations. Mastery lies in matching the layer of the conversation. Practical conversations demand clarity, precision, actionable insight. Emotional conversations require empathy, patience, reflective silence. Social conversations explore identity, values, relationships. When we attune, the other person feels understood, seen, connected. Ask deep questions. Listen beyond words. Respond with energy, not just logic. Connection is cultivated in the space between words, in the intentionality of silence. The power of storytelling. Stories are not decoration, they are the architecture of human connection. Tell a story, invite others into your world. Listen, step into theirs. Stories carry emotion, lessons, wisdom. They are remembered long after facts are forgotten. They are the bridge between intellect and heart, the conduit for transformation.
Mindset of the master communicator. Every interaction is practice. Every conversation, a laboratory. Mistakes are data, not failure. Feedback is a mirror, not judgment. Critics on the sidelines do not define your words. Courage is measured by engagement, not approval. Speak to serve. Listen to understand. Trust that connection grows through consistent presence. Vocal and visual expression. Communication is multidimensional. Voice, gesture, posture, expression. These are the instruments that amplify meaning. A pause emphasizes truth. A glance invites trust. A gesture conveys sincerity. Subtle shifts in tone, pace, posture transform ordinary words into living, breathing connection. Practice aloud. Record yourself. Observe gestures. Awareness unlocks authenticity. Confidence through presence. Confidence is not vanity. It is alignment of clarity and presentation. Posture, appearance, health. When cared for, the mind relaxes. Anxiety diminishes. Voice flows freely. Simple disciplines, grooming, fitness, rest, attire, fuel self-esteem, which fuels communication. Immersion and practice. Communication mastery is immersion. Speak often, speak openly. Not for performance, but for growth. Every interaction is rehearsal. Every challenge, a lesson. Every failure, feedback. Success is preparation meeting opportunity. Preparation is cultivated in mindful, relentless practice. From connection to influence. True influence is born from connection, not manipulation. The communicator who inspires listens first, empathizes first, serves first. Words become bridges. Silence becomes space. Presence becomes impact. Transformation occurs in others and in yourself. Speak to transform. The art of communication is the art of life itself. Speak clearly. Speak bravely. Speak with heart. Every word carries the potential to heal, inspire, teach, transform. Every conversation an opportunity to leave the world more connected than you found it. The journey of mastery is lifelong, yet every step, every word, every pause brings you closer to the one who truly speaks, your authentic self. The river flows, the gunk is cleared, your voice a vessel, your intention
the current. Take these lessons, these practices, these insights. Step into the world ready to connect, inspire, transform. This is the art and science of connection. Speak, listen, be present, and watch the world respond. Step 5. Resolution/call to action. Returning to stillness. After every journey, there is stillness. A pause, reflection, letting lessons sink into the soul. Communication is not a skill to acquire once. It is a river to navigate, a garden to tend, a living dance between hearts and minds. The ripple effect. Every word, every pause, every glance creates ripples. A story shared with courage inspires understanding. A question asked with curiosity opens doors to empathy. A smile met with warmth builds trust. Even small acts spread beyond the moment. Touch lives unseen, shape relationships, opportunities, the world around you. The bridge to connection. Remember the 3 layers: practical, emotional, social. Remember the gunk that once blocked your flow. Remember, vulnerability is not weakness, but a bridge. Every conversation is a choice: to perform or to connect, to impress or to serve, to speak or to truly listen. Choose connection. Choose presence. Choose authenticity. The legacy of your voice. Your voice is more than words. It carries intention, emotion, life itself. Imagine the world you touch each day: family, friends, colleagues, strangers. Each interaction an opportunity to plant seeds of understanding, courage, insight. This is the art of communication. Transform ordinary moments into profound connection. Release the invisible energy within into the world with clarity and purpose. The practice of presence. Mastery is not perfection. It is presence. Show up fully, with courage, curiosity in every conversation. Practice mindfulness in speech. Notice thoughts, gestures, pauses. Practice empathy. Step into the other person's world before responding. Practice storytelling. Transform facts into connection, lessons into shared understanding. Through daily practice, the river flows freely. Anxiety becomes energy. Fear becomes courage. Words become bridges. A call to transform. Step forward. Speak boldly with kindness. Listen deeply without judgment. Connect genuinely. Let your words ripple far beyond your understanding. The art and science of communication is not reserved for a few. It is open to all who choose awareness, courage, presence. Let your words carry intention. Let your pauses carry meaning. Let your stories carry heart. Let your conversations carry transformation. Closing reflection. The journey begins and ends in the present moment. Every conversation, an invitation. Every interaction, a choice. Every word has the power to heal, inspire, connect. So speak, listen, be present, and watch the world respond in kind.